So let's start with talking about the establishment where all these ideas appeared and about my colleagues and the students and how we developed in the Educational Center Interclass. Educational Center Interclass is the after-school establishment for the kids from 6 till 17. What does it mean to be an after-school establishment? It means that this is a voluntary type of education, so we can't make kids come and learn English. Either their parents can do it or they're motivated by our classes and they're inspired by all our teaching methods. So we started in 2007, and at that time there was just one small school, one tiny school. There were 3 teachers and there were around 50 students. We are based in Kryvyi Rih, Ukraine. Which is an industrial city, and not that many students really need English, so we had to make extra effort to make them interested, being interested in what we're teaching, and also to motivate them to learn English. So by now, by 2018, we already have more than 1,000 students, and there are 9 educational establishments in Kryvyi Rih. 6 of them are owned by me, and the 3 of them are owned by our franchisees. Also, there are different educational centers all over Ukraine and even abroad who are interested in our ways of teaching, who take our textbooks and who use our methods of teaching. So let me give you some idea about how we came to this ways of teaching that we use. When we just started in 2007, the main teaching methods that we tried to use were communicative. I'm a great proponent of communicative method, but it could hardly work with our students. Why? Probably because most of them come from the passive language environment. We'll talk about it later. And the passive language environment means that they are not studying English as a language of communication. They are studying English as people earlier studied Latin, as the language of science, for example. And though many of them want to make their careers in international companies, many of them want to be in IT or to become programmers, but they still are very difficult to motivate when they are kids, because they don't have English around them, only in video games and sometimes when they use internet, and that is why communicative method didn't really work well. So what worked well? We started thinking about mnemonic techniques and how to remember words better. And these memory tricks, different memory tricks, worked much better than just composing dialogues. And finally, we came to a distinct set of methods which we use. They are, I call them cognitive strategies, but cognitive is also a misnomer, because cognitive, like every teaching, any teaching is cognitive, but still they may be called cognitive, and they are categorizing. We categorize all the time, so then with scaffold for syntaxes, we develop language awareness and we develop accurate thinking. The good question is why do we call their interclass method? Why don't I call it like, why don't I find a different term? And I should admit that there were numerous attempts to name it differently. I wrote an article with my colleague Maria Cody, Dr. Maria Cody, calling it the enhanced communicative approach, or it could be called the cognitive communicative method. But there is always a question, why not communicative cognitive? Or there are so many ways to call it. It can also be called a post-communicative method, or an, again, enhanced communicative method. I would prefer to call it their interclass method, because it embraces not only the ideas of how to teach, but also it involves many observations and ideas of how to work that are based on the classroom experience. So the name, the interclass method of teaching English, reflects such things. First of all, the work of the interclass team of teachers who not only carefully observed their students, but always responded to my ideas. They were able to criticize, discuss, and give hints on how to enhance our way of teaching. Also, this way of teaching appealed to so many students of interclass, and I'm really thankful to those kids and their parents who believed in us, even though we taught them rather strange things, for example, geography or history or painting or anything else. And finally, or in general, this term, the interclass method, expresses my gratitude to both students and teachers who were with me all this time.